All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're diving into a world that's, well, it's changing like crazy. I'm talking about smart energy. This whole global shift to clean power. It's happening at lightning speed, and trying to navigate it, let alone lead the way, yeah, that takes some serious know-how.
So that really begs the question, right? If you're a business or a professional or really anyone trying to make a mark in this field, how on earth do you manage this huge global transition to clean energy? I mean, seriously, where do you even start?
And let's be crystal clear about something. This is not simple stuff. We're talking about a multi-billion-dollar opportunity for sure, but the sheer scale of it is just massive. Think about it. Every single step, from just planning a solar farm like this one to actually integrating it into the grid, every piece of that puzzle requires an incredible depth of knowledge. We're talking technical, commercial, and even legal expertise.
Okay, let's get into it. Before we can even talk about solutions, we've got to wrap our heads around the challenge itself. So let's take a look at what this new energy landscape, this smart energy revolution, is really all about. The first thing to get is that it's not just one thing. This whole transition is built on a few really key interconnected pillars. Of course, you've got the renewable tech itself, solar, wind, hydro, but then you need smart grids to actually transmit and distribute that power. And what happens when the sun isn't shining? That's where energy storage comes in. Big batteries, or BES, to keep the supply stable. And then it all has to plug in seamlessly with our green buildings and even our smart cities. Honestly, each one of these is a whole universe of complexity on its own. So with all that complexity swirling around, it's pretty clear you need a guide, right? Well, that's where a company like ANTRIKSH PHOTONERGY comes into the picture. They've positioned themselves as that expert guide through this very transition.
So what's their secret sauce? At the core of how they operate is something they call the SMART philosophy, and you can see the logic right away. It's not about looking at these things in isolation. It's about weaving it all together. Smart consulting, energy, grids, and solar into one single integrated strategy. The goal? Holistic solutions that actually work in the real world.
Now, a philosophy is one thing, but you need the street cred to back it up. And they've got it. First off, more than 30 years of hands-on experience. I mean, think about that. That's not just a number. It means they've been in the trenches, navigating the twists and turns of this industry for decades. That is a rock-solid foundation. And then there's this number. Just look at the sheer scale of that experience. We're talking over 10 gigawatts of projects they've advised on. To give you an idea of what that even means, just 1 gigawatt can power hundreds of thousands of homes. So, yeah, these are not small-time projects we're talking about. This is the big leagues. So you've got the philosophy, you've got the experience, but what does that actually look like when they work with someone? Well, their first core offering is all about end-to-end project expertise, and they mean it. They're with you from the very first spark of an idea all the way through to the final commissioning. They basically got this down to a science, breaking the whole project lifecycle into 4 clear, manageable stages. It all kicks off with feasibility and planning. Doing the homework, creating those super detailed reports. Then you get into the nitty-gritty, the hardcore design and engineering. After that, they handle procurement and project management. And here's the key part. It doesn't just stop when the project is built. The final step is audit and O&M. They're there for the long haul. And what's really impressive is the sheer range of projects where they apply this process. We're talking everything from huge, sprawling utility-scale solar and wind farms to incredibly complex solar installations on city rooftops. But it's not just about generating power. They also dive deep into critical infrastructure like substations, grid automation, and making sure green buildings are actually managing their energy efficiently. It's an incredibly broad portfolio. Okay, so anyone can say they're an expert, but what do other people say? Well, their success is proven. Take a look. On one side, you've got a formal industry award recognizing their contribution to solar project advisory. And on the other, you have something that's maybe even more powerful, a letter of appreciation straight from a major client talking about their professionalism and how thorough they were. That's the kind of real-world proof that speaks volumes.
But here's where things get really interesting. Their work isn't just about managing the projects of today. There's a whole second pillar to what they do, and it's all about developing the energy leaders of tomorrow. It's about training, building skills, and creating the workforce that this smarter future is gonna need.
And they tackle this in 2 main ways, which is pretty smart. First, for reaching a lot of people at once, they've got online webinars.
perfect for building broad awareness. But then, for those who need to go deep, they offer these really intensive, customized classroom trainings. And we're not talking a 1-hour seminar. These are serious programs that can go on for days. And when you look at what they teach, wow, their course catalog is huge. This is just a tiny sample, but check out the range. They've got stuff for total beginners, like the fundamentals of solar for a new technician. Then they have advanced courses on project management for experienced managers, and they're even looking at the business side, with guides for entrepreneurs who want to get into the EV and charging business. They really cover all the bases.
And these are not your standard lectures either. They pack a ton of value into these programs. You get a customized curriculum, detailed learning materials, and they even have an interactive mobile app with lifetime access, which is pretty cool. Add in self-paced options and an official certificate, and you've got a really powerful package for professional growth.
You know, when you boil it all down, it really comes back to this one core idea. It's all about collaboration. Let's build a brighter, smarter future together. It's not just a tagline, right? It's an open invitation for you to use their expertise and also to learn from it.
And that really leaves us with one final thought, a question for anyone trying to succeed in this clean energy world. The big takeaway seems to be that you can't go it alone. It's about finding the right partner, someone who can help you cut through the complexity and build the skills you need to win. So the real question is, are you ready to do that? Well, if the answer to that question is yes, then here's your next step. You can get in touch with ANTRIKSH PHOTONERGY directly. Whether you need their smart consulting for your next big project or you're looking for professional training to get your team ready for what's ahead, they're the ones to talk to. Thanks so much for tuning in.